Silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine.
Hello and welcome to the Contrarian News Network. My name is Michael Yates, and I'll be the host for this edition, which is about the power triangle in the world, consisting of U.S., Russia, and China. And so, with that, I'm going to get into this a little bit, starting by talking about each nation just a little bit, setting the stage, give you an idea where these nations are coming from, what they have, and what they're trying to do. We'll start with Russia. Of course, Russia has been rebuilding for quite a while now, a little over a decade. U.S. truly had them defeated and out of the picture completely up until about 2001 when the U.S. got distracted with their quote war on terror and switched their focus to the Middle East. That gave Russia some time to breathe and time to rebuild, and that's exactly what they've been doing since then. They are still no match for the U.S., but they are far stronger than they were, and they see themselves as a major contender for the new superpower title of the world. On the other hand, we have China. China is more of an economic power, more of a financial power, but China definitely is more of a military power than most people give them credit for. As we know, the Chinese believe strongly in it's like a diversion, more of a deception method in warfare. They always make you think that they have the opposite of what they really have. So whether they're weak, if they're weak, they pretend they're strong. If they're strong, they pretend they're weak. So you never know really what you're dealing with China. But when they got trillions of dollars laying around from all their trade, you can just assume they've got a strong military and some pretty handy equipment and war capabilities. They're just not going to put it on the evening news for everybody to see. On the other hand, we have USA. USA is definitely the most powerful nation in the world. This is unquestionable. Russia and China together are probably a good match for USA. I wouldn't be surprised if the USA could take both of them, just because of the secret weapons the U.S. has, the capabilities. When you've had the world's reserve currency for as long as they have, and you can print money pretty much unlimited, you can buy an awful lot of military capabilities, and the U.S. has been doing that. So, but the U.S. is definitely on the downhill slide. They're trying to hold down too much power, as nations always do. Too much land, too much power, and they begin to crumble under their own weight. And so Russia and China see this very clearly, and they see this as their time to start to move in. And so with that, what's happening with Russia and China? Well, what's happening is that they're playing a little dance, they're playing a little game. They are definitely allies, but don't think that they're joined at the hip. They are not. Nations like this, who both see themselves as contenders for the throne, they are not satisfied sharing power with one another. They will tolerate that as it is useful for their utilitarian needs, and so they're doing that right now because they both recognize that they need each other to stand against the USA, and they both decided that it's time that this be done, and so that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. So here's some clips in the news where we see China backing Russia on Syria, for instance. Here's a clip of that. We all know that happened. When Russia gets themselves in a little too hot water, China steps in and bails them out. Did the same thing for them in Ukraine. We know that as well. When things got a little hot for Russia, China steps up to the plate and makes some public announcement on the international stage supporting Russia. And not only that, but some of their BRICS friends do as well. So this is a major turning point in geopolitics in the world, as up till now nobody would dare challenge the USA in a real way, and now we're seeing that happen quite regularly. With China down in the South Seas, starting to stake their claim down there and push the boundaries for the U.S., and Russia pushing the boundaries over in the Eurasian area. What this does is it stretches out the USA, makes them have to fight multiple fronts, or at least be strong in multiple fronts, and that contributes to their hasty demise, because it is just very expensive and very time consuming and eats up a lot of resources to have to be doing that. And so with respect to Russia and China, what they're doing right now is that they're playing this little dance where they're going to support one another and they're going to build little alliances. But what they're really hoping for, like all throughout history, whenever there's an alliance between two nations that both would like to be the new superpower. What they would love more than anything else is to see the other one get in a war with the current superpower. So Russia would love to see China get into a war with USA. Why is that? Because, of course, it would weaken both those nations, and then Russia could simply take them both out and become the new superpower. So all three nations know this. They all know that the first one to fall into a war with the other, with any one of the other three, those two are going to be out of the picture, and the last one standing will be the one that was smart enough to stay out. And so that's why we're seeing these little skirmishes that never seem to escalate, that never seem to go into big wars, where in the past they might have. But these days there's too much on the table, the stakes are too high, and the situation is far too precarious right now. And you got three countries that all have the capability for a knockout blow if one of the others gets weak. And so that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So they're going to try to walk this thing out. That's what Russia and China are going to try to do. They know that U.S. is on the down slope. They know they're getting weaker, and so they're going to try to just inch by inch take a little away. They're eating away at the U.S.'s reserve currency. They're eating away at their influence around the world, and so they're just going to keep eating away at the USA, knowing the USA is on the decline anyway. And should the U.S. decide to declare war, they will be fighting both Russia and China, and they know it. And so they've got U.S. in a little box and letting them their influence decrease and wane, and their economic might decrease and wane, and they're just going to try to slowly starve them out. The U.S. is probably not going to let that happen. They're probably going to at some point have to react. They don't want to. But as you see, their rhetoric is getting stronger and stronger now with Russia. They're trying to turn Europe against Russia because, of course, they'd love Europe to be the sacrifice. Just like Russia and China would like to see the other get into a war with the USA, USA would love to be able to send Europe against one of those two or both of those two to weaken Europe as well, of course, because Europe is also a contender. They're just not nearly as ambitious at this point in time, and they're not as unified. But if they were, they could be the fourth power in the world. So you see Brzezinski get up a little while ago and tell Europe to stand up against Putin and Ukraine. They would love someone else to go in there and do the dirty work and take the blows and get all bloodied up and weaken one of them so they could finish them off. But that's not going to happen. Europe right now is really more of the bride than she is the groom. Whoever the victor is will get the spoils of Europe, which is a lot of business and a lot of money, and they're a great economic power, but they're not a military power. They're not a geopolitical power either. And so this is what we have going on right now. This is why it's taking so long. This is why it's going so slowly, because nobody wants to be the first one to make a mistake. So how this will go, again, I'm not going to try and tell you how it's going to go, but I do know that nobody has a reason to start anything right now, because it would cost them. If there was two countries and one felt that they were clearly more powerful, they just might start it. But that's not the case, and that's by design with Russia and China. So this is going to carry on. It's going to get tighter and tighter, and my guess, if I had to guess, I'd say probably what will happen is that Russia and China are in no hurry. Time is on their side. Time is not on the side of the USA. They are waning. And so if anybody's going to probably have to kick this off at some point, it'll be the USA. That's just probably how it's going to go, unless they can sucker one of these two into a war somehow, some way, and it wouldn't be the first time. We shall see. And for now, that's about all. I hope you had an enjoyable time listening. I appreciate that you were here, and come back again. Bye for now.
Silver girl, sail